Hello and welcome everybody. We are talking about Talk to the Animals, and I'm joined by my fabulous friends and fellow Talk to the Animals facilitators, Susie Godsey from New Mexico in America. Yay!
Yay! Thank you.
And Emma from Tokyo in Japan. Yay!
Yay!
So
And we're from Australia.
Oh yeah, of course. So October, which is just around the corner, is Talk to the Animals Month. And I was chatting with Emma the other day and I went, wow, look at all the possibilities that are creating in October, especially some like, I wonder what the animal kingdom is contributing to our worlds and what's pinging in our viewers, people watching live now or later. What are you aware of with the animal kingdom? You know, what is the animal kingdom desiring to awaken you to, invite you to, contribute to your world? So these amazing two ladies that I have with me and myself are Talk to the Animals facilitators. So I'm going to hand it over to these ladies and just ask them, what is Talk to the Animals to you? So Susie, what is Talk to the Animals to you? Put you on the hot seat.
Such an easy question to ask. Thank you, Viv. Talk to the Animals to me is really the possibility to have a different way with animals here on this planet. And this has always been something that I have been interested in since I was a little kid, but I didn't really know how to make that happen. And, I went down the typical route of, fighting for and against certain things that had to do with animals, and was a vegetarian and all this kind of stuff. And then, when I first got introduced to the tools of access consciousness, I really started to get a different perspective of certain things, which interestingly enough, I kind of had that perspective, but I couldn't have ever put it in words. And that's the beauty about many of the tools of access that I find, is that there's words for something that we know, but we don't know how to say, or we know it, but we don't actually know it, or it's not this cognitive thing. And so animal communication is like that too. We all have the capacity, because we all know actually energy and we all talk energy. But a lot of us are not even aware that we're talking energy all the time. And so these classes can really tickle that out more and really show you that, there is a totally other possibility if you're willing. If you're willing. So yeah, there you go. The dogs had something to say too, apparently.
Emma, what's Talk to the Animals for you?
For me, like talk to the animal is like receiving from everything without any judgment. There was always like some area in my life that something I was avoiding, like some everybody has something they dislike. Sometimes it's some certain people, or like the bugs, like cockroach. And then if you have this area where you're avoiding, you're not receiving fully from everything. And I had desire to receive from everything, although there are things I didn't like. But by receiving like Talk to the Animal class, it changed my life. I was able to receive this like everything, like every molecule on this planet, and everything that exists in this world without any judgment. It's not like about liking everything, but just receiving from everything has changed everything about my life and has expanded so much. And also, like, I'm living in the middle of Tokyo. And so I thought, like, I would never be able to have, like, communication with large animals, for example, like horses. And, by when I was receiving all these classes, I saw a lot of horses, like, with participants. And I was like, wow, it's so beautiful. But I thought, okay, I'll not have that because I live in Tokyo. But by going through these classes, I was like, okay, what else is possible? Universe showed me the possibility. And then I received this gift, a ticket for horseback riding in Tokyo, and was like, wow, this exists here in Tokyo. And now, like, it's been 3 years since my life with horses started, and I'm having an amazing time. So this Talk to the Animal has expanded everything, like, in my life. And it's just full of possibility. Talk to the animal is just like life changer, full of possibilities. That's something I can say for sure. And it's not only about me, or everybody that who joined my Talk to the Animal class, as well as like Viv and Susie's, they said like it's changed my life. It's not only about talking with animals, but sometimes communication with their kids, their partner, or even their job and money. It's not only about the money, it's about the possibilities in your future. That's how I put it.
Yeah, beautifully said. And for me, it's about being. Animals, they don't think like we do. They don't have all that crazy talk and the worrying about what people think and do I look too fat in this? It's like they don't do any of that. They're so deliciously, divinely, beautifully them with no apology. They don't have doubt. They don't second guess themselves. They don't play games. I mean, like in mind games. And there's just a simplicity and yet an elegance and an incredible ownership of who they be. And so when you're around the animals, that's what invites me. It's like you lean into their world, you receive, something changes with your neurology, something changes with your very molecules and your nervous system and your heart rate and everything when you're around an animal. So for me, it's about the being that they invite out of you, because I think there's so much doing in our world. We have all of these different hats that we wear and all the different roles and costumes and characters that we play in different areas of our life. And it can be quite taxing on our being, because the time we're the happiest, the time when our life works the most, the time things are just showing up magically and effortlessly is when we're being. And yet it seems that most of the things in this reality are designed to deliberately distract you from that. And so the animal kingdom, in its silence, in its whispers, in its sheer presence, is just emanating energetically a different way of being and functioning and interacting with everything. So, like you said, Susie, like you said, Emma, the tools of Talk to the Animals, whether it's reading Gary's book, Talk to the Animals, whether it's attending a class, whether it's using the tools, jumping on a free live with Susie and I, listening to any conversations or anything that's out there, the depth and breadth of what Talk to the Animals can contribute to your world is infinite, just as the animal kingdom does. So that's my personal thing with animals. Yeah. And just the joy, the space, the irrelevance. Animals don't make things significant. We can learn so much. We can take so much on from the animal kingdom. We can be inspired and reach and become something totally different with the receiving, like you were saying, Emma, of whether it's an ant or a cockroach or a duck or a dog or a horse or any animal. It's not just necessarily cats and dogs. It is the entirety of the animal kingdom that I think largely goes unreceived in the majority of people's lives. So that's my desire, to open up people's awareness to far more than what we've just been concluding. So next question, ladies. I'm going to ask Susie, what's one of your most used, most favorite tools when it comes to your dogs particularly?
Wow, totally unprepared, Viv. You could have given me a warning. No warnings. No, just spit it out, Susie. What's your most favorite tool with your dogs? Okay, cool. On the spot. Okay, cool. Well, now I have to think, because it's very interesting. People often ask that, what's your favorite tool? And I always have to look at it, because to me, the tool that works is my favorite tool. The tool that is applicable in that particular moment. That's my favorite tool. And how do I know which tool that is? I think part of it is starting to play with these tools and to oh, stop. Sorry. Starting to really play with the different tools that are available, and then having more and more of a toolbox that's readily available. And so the more tools that you use all the time, then it's really easy to know, oh, I can use this tool right now. But I think you said it too, Viv. The animals always invite us to something, and if there's something going on with my dogs, or if there's something up, it's always an invitation. It's always an invitation to look at what is going on, what is really going on here, what's up, and to then just be present with that and not come to conclusion. And I think, one of the things that a long time ago, when I started being a dog walker, God, sometimes I would just yell at the dogs. I was frustrated and I would yell at the dogs. And I learned so quickly also from the dogs that yelling doesn't really work. But it's so easy to do these things because in the people world, when we're upset, we get loud, and we start yelling a lot of time. A lot of people do, let's just say that. And this kind of stuff actually never works with animals. They really don't understand us any better when we start yelling. And it creates a strange energy that never is a contribution. And so if you're willing to really look at the situation, even if it upsets you, and you can take a breath and you can really kind of look at it in a different way, then that can change something much more dynamically than if you go into this typical upset routine that you might go into as a person with another person, and maybe once you start using the tools with animals, that will change too. I'm not sure, but it could happen.
Brilliantly answered. And I didn't have that question in my head at all. It's just what fell out of my mouth when I opened it.
I love you.
Spontaneous, see? Just like an animal.
I love it.
Yeah, and again, it's that being in the question. You've got 4 dogs, 3 dogs, 4 dogs?
3 dogs, 3 dogs.
Yeah, a couple of horses. And like having children, if those of you watching have, more than one child, or you've got a family, or you're in charge of a group of people at work or something, that every moment, every situation, every interaction is going to require something different of you. But if, like you say, Susie, you're just stuck in this rinse and repeat, you just do the same reaction over and over and over again, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Whereas what you just addressed is the willingness to just, what's up? No conclusion, just genuinely ask the question and allow whatever it is that's up to actually start communicating with you or leading you into a different level of awareness. So brilliant. Yes, we shout at dogs, shout at kids, shout at whoever, but when we have a different choice, when we know there's a different possibility and we know what we'd rather have the dogs listening, we'd rather have the kids listening or husband listening or whatever it is, you get to change how you be to create a different possibility. So, how's that for self-empowerment? You, instead of doing the same thing over and over, you go to question, you use a tool, and then automatically a different possibility gets created the second you go to question. So that totally transforms you as the person that was originally reacting into being more present and looking at, okay, well, what would I really like to create here? What's going to work? Yeah. Emma, put you on the hot seat now. What's your favorite tool?
Well, you were mentioning about being in a question. That's the tool like I probably use the most. And also talking to the animal is like opening the door for you to become an expert of access tools. And especially being in a question, without being in a question, you will never be able to communicate with the animals. And yes, as people was talking about something, I remembered in my talk to the animal class, I had this lady who had 2 kids. And when she was receiving this class online, the kids were acting out, and I could see that her the mom, the participant, was very agitated, and she wanted to scream, but she didn't want to scream in front of me, and there was weird life going on. So we started to use certain access tools, and then kids started to relax, and she got that her being her being her. Change the whole space, and also all the children's vibes and everything. And for the rest of the class, like kids were getting calmer and calmer, and they start to even engage in the class. So for me, like it's not like just one tool, but just like us using like different tools, as Susie mentioned, on the spot, asking which tools work the best for us, and then like use that tools. It works for animals as well as for the kids, and I found that very interesting. And us too, like we're animals in Japanese, like 動物 is moving things in Chinese character, and our bodies are also moving things. So when we use the tools, it also works on our bodies. So that's what I really like about these tools. And as Susie mentioned, I cannot say which one. I do use like yes, questions a lot, but there are so many tools we can utilize in our daily lives, and I love them all.
So when I said, October is Talk to the Animals month, this month has a plethora, I love that word, plethora, multiple choices of options. If anybody watching this is curious, the website is at the bottom of this live, talktotheanimals.com. And on that website, you'll find all sorts of classes, introduction classes, one-off telecalls, one-day classes, Creating Greater Possibilities, which is an advanced class. There's a whole mixture of different bite-sized to smorgasbord size of experiences and learning with the tools of Access Consciousness and Talk to the Animals. So there's multiple choices if you're willing to lean in and ask the question, what would be fun for me? So is there anything else you would like to add, ladies?
Yeah. What is your favorite tool, Viv?
Oh, darn. I thought I was going to get away with it. Yeah, and it's very much echoing both of yours. It's the ability to have that sense, because like you said, Susie, often we have a sense that something's off. Like my dog at the moment, she's just not 100%. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? What's going on with your body? With your body? Because I think we often just look at like we do with people, we just see the whole picture. We don't realize that there's a physical body also in the interaction. It's not just, the facade or the name or the identity, but there's also a body there that often is the body that is the one that is facilitating greater awareness through it. Could be a pain or a disease, or they're not eating their food, or they're scratching or whatever. So one of the ones I love the most is actually addressing the body and addressing the question to the body of the animal. So, and it's the same thing. It's like, okay, what's up? What's going on? What is this? So again, the question, and learning just to have a handful of questions, just have 3 or 4 questions. So what is this? What do I do with it? Can I change it? And if so, how do I change it? The moment you start asking any one or those combination of questions, the awareness, the energetic awareness will start to show up in your life. You'll start to have a sense, and only you know what awareness is for you. We all have different ways of communicating and receiving that awareness. It's not a one size fits all, and it has to look a certain way or sound a certain way. You very much start to lean into and become familiar and intimate with how your personal level of interaction and communication and receiving that communication is for you. And that's one of the greatest tools I love, particularly with the Start the Conversation class. It's about empowering the people in that class to know that they are already communicating. We just probably need to just polish so that they become more aware and more present with how that is for them. And that's such an amazing journey for people to go on when they get that wow moment, when they get that light bulb, when they really recognize, wow, I've just had some information that I had no cognitive awareness of before. And it shows up in a very different way. It's not a thinking, computing, rational, logical, linear way. It's a very different way where there is that communion, there's that oneness with the energy communicating to you in a way that you personally learn to receive it for you. And that for me is one of the greatest magical journeys that the animals invite us to. So yeah, how does it get better?
How does it?
Yeah.
Awesome.
What else is truly possible?
So, yeah, anything else, ladies, that you would like to add, that you would like to invite, or have we done what we came here to do and be?
Yes. Yes, we did.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us today and in the future. Thank you to my wonderful friends Susie and Emma, and to the infinite animals in the animal kingdom. And come and play with us. Come and play with the
Yes.
animals. And
Yay.
what else is miraculously possible?
Thank you, Viv. Thanks, Emma. And
Thank
how
you.
does it get any better than this?
Thanks,
See you soon,
everyone.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.